Welcome back on Dynamod. Today I want to propose you a video about flames and how to create them. You have a lot of ways to realize them. As the material I prefer to use the green stuff, but you can use other things, for example milliput or so on, it's up to you. And you can create directly, sculpting the green stuff directly, but we'll see later. Or you can use, for example, a sort of soul. I use, for example, the iron threads that can be thin, thick. You can make and add so that you can create multiple thread together so that you can combine, make a circling or so on. So you can shaping the iron thread as you want, and to cover the iron thread that it has a particular role. It's to make that you can take the flame in that direction, in that position. So it's a thing that doesn't allow the bending of the green stuff or the things under their own weight. So it's quite important to use such situation. Bigger it is the flame that you are going to construct, and thinner there are the external part, the thinner part that you are going to construct, so that you can use such way. And using this, you can use, for example, different ways to wrap about it. For example, you can cut a bit of the green stuff, roll a bit so that you elongate, then design a line in the center of the piece of green stuff that you created, and then wrap around, sculpting contemporarily to the iron thread so that you can shape and create the design of the flames and so on. Otherwise, you can simply make that you roll and make a thin part of the green stuff and wrap around, circling, like blending around a thread like it is, so a sort of bandage around, so that you can then sculpt and you can control, but you risk to have some parts exposed. In that way, then you can simply fill with other parts of green stuff to create a sort of secondary flames that come out from there. So you can really make a lot of gaming about the way that you can create the flames. Not everyone has to be done in the same way, and you can make that each flame it's separate and made in different ways. Remember that after that the green stuff has been solidified and so on, or simply after that it's more cohesive and so on, you can add other derivative little flames and so on. You can change, modify, retouch. You can anyway try to adjust whatever you want. The soul thread it's only in the way that it keep that positioning the main part of the flames. Everything else it's up to you decide how you want to proceed. Otherwise, you can create your own flame without any thread to support it. In that way, I suggest you to use a little blob of green stuff. Otherwise, you can combine after that you create the main part. And so, as I said before, the parts about the little flames adding. But you can sculpt, creating the little dentings at the base where it contact on the surface that you are going to work with, so that it can be attached and seem like it's burning and raising from that part, like a normal flame it would. And then you sculpt and raise, so use the alternative of the fingers and the sculpt tools, so that you can make dents on the green stuff and so on, raise, modify, change, divide, splitting and so on. It's up to you anyway, and make that in such a way you can create the effect of working on. It's better always to make a sort of vortex effect, so that in such a way you can make dance and seem like it's spiraling the flame itself, like it's working. It's I can say in some way live, but it's up to you decide how you can work on. If it's better if you do a main part before, then wait a bit and add other details after with other little pieces of green stuff. It's up to you. Still, you can work quite a lot about it. So what is better comparing the iron thread soul and without it? It's up to you decide. Since I use both the ways, because for some things, for example the ones that I put single or maximum double on the surface or so on and are small, I prefer use without the iron thread, because I like to modify and like to perceive the model, and in some parts it's quite problematic to reach with the iron thread itself to glue it on the parts and modify, because it's not to have enough surface, so I prefer to work that with the green stuff. Otherwise, you have always to remember that you can create and be really creative using the iron threads. So you create the structure where you can go then with the green stuff. So you can combine. Maybe you can use, for example, the iron threads to create the structure so that you can create in the way that you can make vortices, you can raise a lot the flames, enrich and create arcs or so on. It's up to you. But in such a way you can make that you have a sort of line that brings you what you need. Surface where to put the green stuff and work on, other than see the film itself collapse under its own weight, because it has a weight and so it can't have always the same. So you have to notice which one are better based on the things that you want to realize. To make sure that the flames are upside, remember to put reverse, so downside the flames using some blue tack or so on, so that you can be sure that it doesn't flop the points eventually. So, from Dino mode, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.